Hare Krishna. Here we are still in Krishna Valley in self-quarantine, still for another few days. And I thought that I would also take the time, and since you may also have a little more time on your hands than you planned, to speak a little about the Bhagavad Gita. And let's see how long this goes on, but see if we can actually go through the Bhagavad Gita. Here it is. Some certain select verses that really have a strong message, something that we can get both spiritual strength and inspiration from. Now, this is from the second chapter. And here, Krishna is speaking. And this is, by the way, the second chapter is really the summary of the Bhagavad Gita. He says in Sanskrit, Dukeshu anudigva mana sukeshu bigata spriha bitaraga bayakroda stitadhir muniruchate. Interested in the translation? Okay. One who is not disturbed in mind, even amidst the threefold miseries, or elated when there is happiness, and who is free from attachment, fear, and anger, is called the sage of steady mind. Interested in being a sage, or yogi, or a saint of steady mind, or just anyone with a steady mind. And that's not an easy thing in our really turbulent world today. Well, these are things that we can cultivate. These are qualities that we cultivate, and if we practice makes perfect. If we keep practicing something, it becomes second nature. And that's the principle, one of the principles of yoga. If any of you do asanas, then how do you become proficient in asanas? Well, you start by starting at the beginning where you're not so proficient, where you're making all kinds of mistakes. So similarly here, someone who's not disturbed in mind. In other words, we try to keep this perspective in our minds that the threefold miseries, what are these threefold miseries that are being talked about over here? Well, threefold miseries are the misery or the discomfort that come upon us from our environment, from other living entities, such as COVID-19, very small living entities, and also what happens when that COVID-19 hits us, then from our bodies, and here also our minds. So misery from others, misery from the environment, and misery that is self-inflicted. And we should see that these things come and they also go. And why is it that one would be of steady mind? Well, one reason is because I know this is actually not happening to me. It's happening to my body. So that is what's stated here. Therefore, when there's unhappiness, I don't go down. And when there is happiness, I don't just go up. In other words, I don't fluctuate between this happiness, distress, happiness, distress. These are the waves of the world. There's not really much that you can do about it. But rather, I should just accept that this is the way my karma is. I'm going to get a certain prescribed amount of unhappiness and a certain type of happiness, and I should be tolerant of both and be introspective. I should realize that life is about what happens within and not happens without. And this body is part of the external. Okay, and he's free from attachment, fear, and anger. How do you become free from attachment? We're attached to so many things, family members, our house, the facilities that we have, and what to speak of our bodies. But don't be too attached. You attach to these things as an instrument, as a purpose for self-realization, but ultimately they're temporary. And part of the suffering that we're going to experience is that if we're too attached, what is temporary is taken away from us. Our family members, our possessions, our body, everything that we have at a certain point has to go. So we should not be excessively attached. We're attached in terms of how much we can help someone, how much we can contribute to the world, how much we can grow internally, but always keeping the perspective but it's all temporary. So I shouldn't be too attached. And therefore, when I know that everything is going to go, that's how I become free from fear. You become fearless. Fearless, meaning that the soul neither suffers, the soul neither gets old, the soul neither dies. What is it that we experience? It's our attachment to what we think we're not, namely this body, that is actually the cause of our happiness, distress, and our fear, that we're worried that we're going to lose something, but we're going to lose everything. Therefore, let's practice not being of fear. And therefore, when the inevitable does happen, anger, we don't become angry. We don't become angry when someone is unkind to us. We don't become angry when we become sick. We don't think that we're just simply a victim. Why is it that this always happening to me? We recognize that this is life and this is my karma. So why should I be angry for getting what I deserve? So these are things to think about. This is the teachings of the Gita. If we work on these and cultivate these qualities, then one becomes a sage of steady mind. That means that our mind is under our control. And it's not being blown about left and right by what happens to us, by whether someone is nice to us or not, and so many other things. And therefore, when our mind is very stable, then neither fear, nor anger, nor attachment actually trouble us. And that becomes the real source of happiness. That's how you become happy. So, some thoughts for the day. I hope this helps. How to be of steady mind, a sage of steady mind. Hare Krishna, have a great day. See you soon on the next verse.